Hello, guys. Good morning with everybody. Welcome to our 8th class. Today it's Sunday, September 10th. And well, right now we are halfway to be done and to finish with our 8-week course. Okay, so great thing. I think that is great news for you. Okay, so I'm gonna start as usual, passing the attendance. So please remember that in order to have your attendance, you will need to turn on your camera, not only during the attendance, but during the class. So Josué Recalde, Andreina Cabeza, Sebastián Rodríguez, Paulette Castillo, Kevin Cruz, Giancarlo Cedillo. I'm asking you to please turn on your cameras, okay? So let's start with Mr. John Amaya, Mónica Añasco.
Present, teacher.
Thank you, Mónica. Mercedes Arteaga.
Good morning, teacher, present.
Good morning, Mercedes. Thank you. Andreina Cabezas.
Good morning, teacher. Present.
Good morning, Andreina. Paulette Castillo.
Good morning, teacher. Present.
Good morning, Paulette. Sara Castro.
Morning, teacher. Present.
Good morning, Sara. Thank you. Giancarlo Cedillo.
Presente.
Remember, Giancarlo, either present or here. Okay, so once again, Giancarlo Cedillo.
Present, Miss.
Thank you very much, Giancarlo. So let's continue with Sebastián Cherres. Kevin Cruz.
Present, Miss.
Thank you, Kevin. Yeliver Cruz.
Present, Miss.
Thank you, Yeliver. Nancy, it's coming. Marjorie Garcia.
Present, Miss.
Thank you, Marjorie. Álvaro Lara.
Present, Miss.
Thank you, Álvaro. Cristian León. Verónica Murillo. No, Verónica is here yet.
Sí, siempre tarde.
Verónica, you there?
Good morning, teacher. Present.
Hi, Verónica. I didn't see you over there. Thank you for letting me know. Narcisa Navarrete. Melanie Pineda. Rocío Preciado. Hi, Rocío. Thank you. Yamilet Ramírez.
Good morning. Present.
Good morning, Yamilet. Thank you. José Fernando Ramírez.
Good morning, teacher. I am here.
Good morning, José Fernando. Thank you. Josué Recalde.
Present. Good
Thank you,
morning.
José. Good morning. Sebastián Rodríguez.
Present, Miss.
Thank you, Sebastián. Helen Romo.
Present, Miss. Good morning.
Good morning, Helen. Sandra Santín.
Good morning, teacher.
Hi,
Present.
Sandra, thank you. Omar Tomalá.
Good morning, present, teacher.
Thank you, Omar. Okay, Camila text me. Okay, guys. So let's start with our class, right? Yesterday you did, you developed 3 different activities, right? So today we are gonna work in our next unit, unit 3C, right? So remember that you either can follow your work and the content from this ebook, the PDF. We are gonna be on 24, or you can also follow your work from the Moodle platform, right? So this is the unit we're currently on. So before we go into the unit, I would like to remind you about these structures, these forms, right? Right now, as we checked yesterday, we are on present tense, right? This tense that it's basically for repeated actions, for habits, for unchanging situations. So we were practicing about when do we add the S or ES depending on the third person, right? So I would like to also remind you that we have to follow a structure, a form, right? So right here you have the form for the affirmative sentences, the negative sentences, and also for the questions. For example, remember that if you are referring or if you want to form a sentence in an affirmative way, you are gonna first of all put the subject, then you are gonna have the verb, right? And after that, the complement, just as you are seeing right here as the example. Marta plays soccer daily. So this S, remember, we already discussed this, it's because we are referring to Marta, and Marta, it's a she. So because of that, we are using the S. Now, different case, right here, we are referring to you, so there is no third person, and we don't need to do this. This will be incorrect, right? So it's basically you watch movies every Sunday. So remember, subject, the infinitive verb form or the base form, you can probably also hear it like be1, okay? This is the original form of the verb, be1. And after that, the complement that it's usually something related with like a time expression, daily, every day, every Sunday, something that you do in repeated actions, okay? Now, we have like a bit different whenever we have in negative form. For example, right here, remember that we have to use the auxiliary. What is the auxiliary? It's basically this verb that doesn't mean anything, but it's in the sentences to basically telling, hey, I'm right here. I'm making the sentence negative. ¿Verdad? Tenemos estos verbos auxiliares que difieren de los verbos regulares, que son estos verbos que hay una acción, una implicación. Este verbo auxiliar, como lo dice la misma palabra, simplemente está ahí como para ayudar a que una oración se haga negativa. Right? So let's see the example. We can either use the auxiliary don't or doesn't. Remember that don't is the contraction of do not, and doesn't is the contraction of does not, right? So we are gonna use that depending on the third person, because right here we have Marta, and Marta, once again, we said that it's a she. We are gonna be using doesn't, right? And remember, because right here we already have the S, we are not adding the S once again right here, because we already are adding the S in the auxiliary. So to make it even clearer, let's take a look. We could say, let's go right here. Okay, we could say a sentence just as Sophia, let's see, watches movies on Netflix every Sunday. So because I'm saying every Sunday, it's part of a habit that Sophia has, right? So today it's Sunday. So we know that Sophia, she's watching movies today, right? So now, if I want to make this negative, I will use the auxiliary, right? I will go once again, Sophia, but in this case, I will have to use the auxiliary. So I will say doesn't, and in this case, I wouldn't do this because ES, this S, it's already right here. Just think it like that. Because we already have the S right here, we don't need to add the S in this verb because the auxiliary verb, it's already doing its job. So Sophia doesn't watch movies on Netflix every Sunday. Let's say that she's not watching the movies on Netflix because probably she's on English classes, okay? So as you can see right here, you have an affirmative example and a negative example, okay? Now, let's see what's the deal with questions, right? In these questions, we also have to consider the auxiliary. But of course, in this situation, it won't be done or doesn't. It will be do or does. And also, it will depend on the person, if it's first person or third person. So the first example that we have, the subject, once again, it's Martha, that it's referring to a she, right? Let me do something like this. Okay, so because we have the subject Martha, the auxiliary that we will use, it's does. And once again, we are not doing this because right here, we already have the S. So it's gonna be the base form of the verb. So let's see the example of Sophia's, for example. Let's see. If we wanna make the question right here, we have to decide do or does. Which one will we use? Do or does?
Does.
Correct, does, because it's Sophia, it's a she, it's the third person, right? Does Sophia, and in this case, we are adding the verb. So the verb, the original form of the verb will be watch. There is no need to say watches because once again, we already have the auxiliary, right? So Sophia watch. Does Sophia watch movies on Netflix every Sunday? Right? So over there, we have our questions, okay? So that was only a friendly reminder. Now, let's go to the actual activities, right? So we are gonna go into Unit 3C, Love Online. And right here, as usual, we have 3 sections. We are gonna cover into the grammar section, word order in questions. In the vocabulary section, we are gonna cover question words, and into the pronunciation, we are gonna cover sentence stress. So our very first activity, it's gonna be related to listening. This is a good thing. Practice your listening skills because let's remember that in the final quiz, you are gonna have a section that it's gonna be related to listening. So it's important that you don't only listen to me because of course I speak quite different to these people that are actually from UK, United States, and they are actually people that were born into English, right? So you need to practice your listening skills based on these people pronunciation. Now, we have the first activity, and I'm gonna ask Sandra, can you please help me reading this instruction right here?
Okay. Kevin and Samantha want to meet a partner on the internet. Read their profiles and look at their photos. Then cover them and say what you can remember. Do you think they are a good match?
Correct. Thank you very much, Sandra. So right here, you have two profiles, right? You also have a profile in Facebook. If most of you, I know that you have Facebook, right? So your profile is when you said, for example, in my case, Andrea Rodriguez, single, 33 years old. I like dogs and cats. That is a profile, right? Because you're telling information. Now, I'm gonna ask you to right now to take a look on this profiles right here. Take a look on this page, because right here you have the profile of Kevin and the profile of Samantha, okay? So let me, let's see. Josué Recalde, can you please read Kevin's profile?
Yes, is Kevin, age 28, live in South London, likes films, music, doesn't like football.
Correct. Thank you very much, Josué. So remember, guys, there is a confusion with this word. This and this, right? This one right here, the pronunciation, it's like this. Live, live, okay? And it's basically when I'm saying, hey guys, I live in Ciudad Celeste. I live in Guayaquil. This is used as a verb, right? But this one right here, it's the noun, for example, and the pronunciation, it's quite different. The pronunciation right here, it's live. And it's like Bon Jovi's song, It's My Life. So don't you dare to talk about it, right? So example, this one right here is I live in Guayaquil. In this case, it's a verb, right? I live in Guayaquil, you live in Babahoyo, she lives with us, she lives in Cuenca. But in this case, it's a noun. So I will say, it's my life. It's my life. So don't you dare to talk about it, okay? So that's the difference. This is a common mistake, but that is why I'm making this, I'm trying to making this clear, okay? This is the right pronunciation. This one right here, it's a verb, and this one right here, it's a noun, okay? So now let's go back and now let's see Samantha's profile. Remember the pronunciation right here is lives. And in this case with S because we are referring to Samantha, right? So Giancarlo Cedillo, can you please read Samantha's profile?
Samantha, age 26, live in South London, like the cinema, good food, don't like sport.
Correct. Thank you very much, Giancarlo. Now, we also have right here like a search bar, a search tool, right? Basically, it's like you can like move around and telling what are you looking for, search, right? What are you searching? I am a man, in this case is Kevin, looking for a woman, age, this is like the range, right? From 25 until 35, and the location, the place, the city, the country, it's London, okay? So this is the first part. Now, what we are gonna do in the very first activity, it's listen to the conversation and trying to get what you hear and try to complete with the missing verbs. This one right here. So you guys can go into this activity right here. Right? And look, you have some gaps that you will have to complete. Nice thing, right here, you have this one right here, you have some of them. So what you guys are gonna do right now, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. And after that, we're gonna check your answers, okay? So once again, it's important to practice your listening skills because once again, I speak quite different to the people that actually were born of those places. Entonces es importante que practiquemos nuestras habilidades de listening, porque una cosa es que me escuchen hablar a mí, que obviamente procuro hablarlo mucho más lento, tener una mejor enunciación, ¿verdad? A que escuchen hablar a estas personas que son personas nativas de allá, hablan mucho más rápido, pero que es lo que nos va a ayudar a desarrollar un poco más nuestro oído. Okay, so 5 minutes, and after that, we are going to check the activity. Okay, Okay, guys. So what we are gonna do, right, is that if you do have the answer, you can raise your hand, and we are gonna try to listen what is the basically the word that is missed, right? You can also guess because you can read and try to get the context, right? It's important to understand the context. So we have, let's listen, okay?
2.17.
Hi, are you Kevin?
Yes. Are you Samantha?
Yes, I am. But call me Sam. Nice to meet you.
Okay, so let's see the first word. Omar Tomala, can you please spell the word that goes right here in this gap?
Yes. M-E-E-T. Meet.
Meet, correct. Nice to meet you. Remember, nice to meet you is a common expression used in English. That is something that if you are introducing somebody for the very first time, you can say, hi, I am Andrea. Nice to meet you. Un gusto conocer, right? So the pronunciation is meet. Remember, even though that you have two is right here and you could say met, no, meet. So let's continue.
Sorry I'm late.
No problem. You look different from your photo.
Let's have a drink. A beer? A wine?
Okay, so what about Josue Recalde? What is the word missing right here?
Let's have.
Can you please spell the word?
H-A-B-E.
Correct. Let's have a drink. Correct. Thank you very much, Josue. So probably this is, you are probably saying have es tener. Why we are saying let's have a drink? Vamos a tener un trago. I mean, if you translate it to Spanish, of course, it won't have sense. It won't make sense. But that is also an expression used in English. It's like, vamos a tomarnos un trago. Let's have a drink, ¿ok? Quizás si lo traducen textualmente a español, no tiene sentido, pero es porque obviamente hay expresiones que solamente sirven en español y hay expresiones que solamente sirven y tienen sentido en inglés. Now, let's continue with the next one.
No, thanks. Water for me. I don't drink alcohol at lunchtime.
Okay, so Mónica Añasco.
Drink.
Okay, can you please spell the word?
D-R-I-N-K.
K. K, remember, yes. So no thanks, water for me. I don't drink alcohol at lunchtime. Correct. So right here, look, there's a typo. Hay un error aquí. This is no one. This is I don't drink, okay? Now, let's continue.
I like this place.
Okay, so Jose Fernando Ramirez, what's the missing word right here?
Like.
Like.
Correct. Can you please spell the word?
L-I-K.
K.
K-E.
Yes. Okay. We're always having issues and problems with this letter, but come on, that you guys can, okay? K, remember, K de banano, K de almendras, okay? K. Now, let's continue with the next one.
Me too. Where do you live in South London?
Okay, so we have the next word. Let's see, Sebastián Rodríguez.
Where do you live?
Live, right? Can you please spell the word?
L-I-V-E.
Correct, live. Remember that the other one is live, and we are not talking about this right here. So correct, great job, Sebastián. Now, let's continue with the next one.
In Bromley, near the market. I live with my mother.
Okay, so Marjorie Garcia, what's the word right here?
L-I-V-E.
Correct. The same one, right? Can you please say the word? Read it.
Live.
Correct. Live with my mother. Great job, Marjorie. Let's go with the next one.
Really? What do you do?
Okay, what's the word right here? Sandra, Santin.
What do you do?
Can you please spell the word?
D-O.
D-O, correct. Really? What do you do? Great job. Now, let's continue.
I'm a teacher. I teach chemistry.
Chemistry. How interesting.
Yes, it's a very interesting job. What about you?
I'm a journalist. You like the cinema, Kevin? What kind of films do you like?
Oh, science fiction films. I love.
Okay. So, what's the word, the missing word right here? Kevin Cruz.
Like.
Can you please spell it?
L A
I.
sí, I Q
No,
E
not Q. Remember, how is the pronunciation?
K
Remember.
K
Exactly.
K
What else?
E
Correct. Now, what about right here? What's the word right here? Can you please spell it?
L E
No.
no L.
¿Saben cómo se pueden acordar que esto es I? ¿Por qué? Cuando ustedes dicen I live en no sé dónde, acuérdense del I live, I am, ¿verdad? Esa es la pronunciación, es la misma. Entonces es la misma I. Entonces, yo sé que las vocales nos confundimos con la I, la I latina, la E, lo entiendo totalmente, por eso lo estoy tratando de sacar ahí de esa zona de confort. Ok, continue. What's the next letter, Kevin?
K
Okay, what else?
E
E, correct. Great job. Thank you very much, Kevin. Now, let's see. We have the next one. Let me see if I can. Yes.
What kind of films do you like?
Oh, science fiction films. I love Star Wars.
Okay, so what's the word right here, John?
Love.
Okay, can you please spell it?
A.
Correct. I love Star Wars. Okay, so we have the last one. Let's see.
Oh.
Do you like Star Wars?
Okay, so Helen, what's the word?
Like. L-I-K-E.
Correct. Do you like Star Wars? Amazing. Great job. So let's finish with this activity. And right now, before we move into the next activity, because remember that the main topic of this unit is word order in questions, right? So we have certain order in questions. So the first thing is that you guys have to identify that we have question words, right? Question words are basically these ones that start with W and H. Who, where, when, why, what. All of those are question words. Esos son los question words, ¿verdad? Como que palabras para preguntar, una cosa así. El cómo, cuándo, por qué. Those are the question words. And depending on the information that we want to get, we can apply each of them. For example, the question word who is to ask about the identity or about a person. Who is that woman? Who is the teacher? Who is your boyfriend? Now, whenever we use where, it's to ask about places, about positions, about locations. Where do you live? Where are my boots? Where does she live? Okay, where is the party? When, the question word when, it's used to talk about, it's used to ask about time, moments, occasions. When can I see you? When did you born? Okay, when did you see him the last time? The question word why, to ask about reasons, explanations. Why were you late? Why are you like this? What? It's to ask about specific things or objects. What's the matter? What time is it? How? Look, it's not only WH, but also we have how. How many, how often, and how. So in the case of how, you can ask like, how does it work? ¿Cómo es que eso funciona? How do you go to school? ¿Cómo llegas? ¿Cómo vas a la escuela? And of course, we have how many, how much, right? To ask about quantity, how many people were there. And we have how often, con qué frecuencia. How often do you go to swim? And we have which, whenever we have choices. Which do you prefer, beach or city? Which it's better, CrossFit or gym, right? You are basically given a choice. ¿Cuál? So we have these question words, and once again, we have certain order in the questions. So we were already checking these questions before, right? Whenever we have the auxiliary, the subject, the infinitive verb form, and the complement. Do you live in Guayaquil? Does your mother work? But what about whenever we have a question word? If we asking a question and we need to add a question word, the question word goes first. And after that, we are going to add the auxiliary. Let's see this example. What do you do? Where does he live? Question word, auxiliary, depending of the subject, right? Because we have a he, we are using the auxiliary does. And this one right here, do you think that this is correct? Where does he lives?
No.
No, right? We need to delete this because we already have the S right here. So this is incorrect. Over there, it's correct. When does he wake up? Why do you cry? How does she feel? Okay, so the word ordering questions, remember, first of all, the question word. After that, we're gonna have the auxiliary, either do or does. Then we have the subject, then the infinitive verb form. We don't add S, we don't add D, we don't add ES, no. We are gonna use the base form. Now, let's go to the next activity now that we know the structure. We're gonna go into activity number 2, this one right here, grammar word order in questions. Put the words in order to make the questions. So right here you have just 3 questions that you have to put them in order, right? You have what you do drink at, in South live London you do where, and films like kind you of what do. So following this structure, you have to put them in order. Okay, let's have 2 minutes to do this, and then we're gonna check your answers. Okay, let's check your answers. Do I have any volunteers for the answers? I do have. Okay, so Sara Castro, what's the correct order of the first one?
Sería one, do you a drink?
Okay, one, do you drink? Like this?
Yes.
Okay, so let's check it, okay? So want, right? Want, it's a verb. For example, if I want to say, Sarah, I want some water. I want some water, right? So this is the verb, right? This one right here can either be a verb or an auxiliary. En este caso, do, dependiendo del contexto, podría ser verbo o auxiliar, ¿verdad? Porque sabemos que do es hacer, pero también sabemos que do puede ser un auxiliar. You es el sujeto y a drink sería ya el complemento, ¿no? Ahora, want es el verbo querer, ¿verdad? Yo quiero agua, yo quiero, como la canción de Pitbull, ¿no? Yo no quiero agua, yo quiero bebida. Ok, want, ¿verdad? Entonces, siguiendo la estructura, ¿verdad? Y sabiendo que esto es una pregunta, veamos cuál es el word order in questions. Recordemos que empezamos, cuando es pregunta, es un auxiliar y sabemos que es una pregunta porque tenemos aquí el signo de interrogación, ¿verdad? Entonces sabemos que iniciamos con un auxiliar, luego de eso, ¿verdad? Nosotros vamos con el sujeto y luego con el verbo. So, I'm asking you once again, Sarah, how do you think that will be the correct way of this question right here?
Sería
Sarah, please. So, only Sarah. Okay, so Sarah.
Sería, do you want a drink?
Correct. Do you want a drink? Correct. Este caso es válida la confusión, ¿no? Porque a veces vemos do y decimos, pero, ay, ¿cómo es la cosa? Si do a veces es auxiliar, do a veces es verbo, sí. Pero sabiendo que esto es una pregunta y viendo que ya hay un verbo, eso a mí me indica que lo más probable es que este do esté en el contexto de que tiene que ser utilizado como auxiliar, ¿ya? Now, let's go with the second one, okay? Giancarlo Cedillo, how do you think that it's the right order for the second question?
Where do you live in South London?
Yes, where, I'm sorry. Where do you live in South London, right? So right here, we are following the form because look, we have where, that is the question word, right? The question word for asking about places or positions. So we are using, first of all, the question word. After that, we need to use the auxiliary, either do or does. So we are using do. After that, we're using the subject, that in this case, it's you. And after that, we are going to be using the infinitive verb of the form of the infinitive verb. Okay, so we have live. And right here, we have the complement. Great job, Giancarlo. Now, let's see. Josue Recalde, number 3. How do you think is the correct order?
What kind of films do you like?
What kind of film do you like? Okay, so thank you very much, Josue. So, in this case, it's quite different, right? En este caso, es totalmente diferente la pregunta. ¿Qué pasa aquí? ¿No? Que esto es una pregunta que ya la revisamos en el ejercicio anterior, ¿no? Cuando estaban conversando y se preguntan, what kind of films do you like? y le dice, I like science fiction films, I love Star Wars, ¿verdad? Ya estamos familiarizados con esa pregunta. Esta pregunta no sigue, por decirles así, la misma estructura como tal, porque aquí se está iniciando con otro tipo de palabras. Mire, primero sí iniciamos con el what, ¿verdad? Que acuérdense que what is for asking for specific things, ¿verdad? Entonces tenemos what kind of films, qué clase de filmes. Yo aquí puedo también poner what kind of drink, what kind of food, what kind of place, ¿verdad? Porque puedo decir qué clase de lugar, qué clase de trago, qué clase de bebida, qué clase de comida. Pero en este caso, yo estoy preguntando what kind of film, and after that, I'm using the auxiliary. After that, I'm using the subject. And after that, I'm using the verb, ¿verdad? Entonces, what kind of ya es como un question word ya específico que justamente sirve para preguntar qué clase de algo te gusta. Como les digo, puede ser what kind of movies, what kind of TV shows, what kind of music, ¿verdad? De esa manera funciona. Now, let's click finish the term and let's go to the next activity. The next activity, what kind of, oh, okay, I'm right here. I forgot the S. Yes, that is why it's incorrect. But it was only because of that. The structure is correct, okay? Now, let's move to the next one, okay? We are gonna do the next one. Vocabulary and pronunciation, 3B. Complete the questions with a question word or phrase from the list. So right here, you are gonna find a list of question words, right? You already have the rest of the questions right here. So it's up to you, it's up to your decision to decide which of these question words it's the one that makes sense. Remember, we have when, that usually it's used to ask about occasions, who, that it's usually applied to people, which for options, how, we use how on like explaining the process of something, what about specific things, where for places, many, it's like for how many, right? Like for numbers, why for reasons, and remember that we have kind, like the previous question, like what kind of movies do you like? Kind puede significar dos cosas. Kind puede significar what kind of movie, qué tipo de películas, tipo, ¿no? Clases, maneras, por así decirlo. Pero kind también, dependiendo del contexto, puede significar amable, ¿no? She's a really kind girl. Es una chica sumamente amable. Pero en este caso, se los menciono, significa de qué tipo. Okay, so let's have 3 to 5 minutes to do this activity. And after that, we're going to check your answers. Okay, Okay, guys, so I already have some volunteers, so let's check. I have Josue Recalde. So Josue, you're gonna read the whole question and also the answer. Okay, number one, please.
What phone do you have? I have an iPhone.
Correct. What phone do you have? I have an iPhone. Remember, we use the question word what for asking about a specific things. Great job, Josue. Thank you very much. Let's continue with Sebastián Rodriguez. Please, number two.
How old are you?
Correct. How old are you? 22. Great job, Sebastián. Thank you very much. Now, let's continue with Marjorie Garcia.
How many
Can you-
brother? How many brother and sister do you have? I have 2 sisters.
Correct. How many? Remember that how many it's asking about quantity. How many brothers, how many houses, how many pens, right? It's basically for countable things. Eso lo vemos después, pero estamos hablando de que how many es para cosas contables. Es decir, cosas como que una pluma, 2 manzanas, ¿verdad? No para cosas incontables como sería agua. El agua no voy a decir how many water, ¿verdad? So, great thing. Now, let's continue with number 4. Omar Tomalá, please.
When do you prefer Saturdays or Sundays? Saturdays.
Correct. Which. Remember that which it's used for options. So I'm telling, which do you prefer? Option A, it's Saturday. Option B, it's Sundays. Now, number 5, Sandra Santin.
When do you have English classes?
Read the answer, please.
When do you have
English classes, can you read the answer?
English classes on Monday and Wednesday?
On Wednesdays, correct. Great job. Thank you very much. Remember, we use when whenever we want to ask about a date. Now, number 6, John Amaya.
What kind of film do you like? I like all British film.
What kind? Remember, the pronunciation is kind. Kind, not kind, okay? Kind. Correct. Thank you very much, John. number 7, let's go with Jose Fernando Ramirez.
Where do you live? In the city center.
Okay, remember that I already told you about the pronunciation of this one right here. Let's refresh this. Remember, whenever it's a verb, the pronunciation is live. Whenever we're talking about the noun, it's live. Okay, so in this case, because it's like this, we're referring to the verb. It's where do you live? In the city center. Okay, number 8, Kevin Cruz.
Who's your favorite actor? Colin Firth.
Correct. Who's your favorite actor? Colin Firth. Amazing. Do not forget that we use who to ask about a person, about identity. And the last one, let's go with Sara Castro, please.
Why do you like him?
Okay, can you read the answer, please?
Why do you like him? Because he's very good looking.
Yes, because he's very good looking. Good looking, it's basically como que apuesto, right? Good looking, correct. Great job, guys. So let's click finish the term. And right now we are gonna play a game. Okay, we are gonna play a game. So the game that we are about to play, it's this one right here. So please pay attention because you will need to access to a different website. So I'm gonna send the link through the chat. You can access through the chat, or you can just scan the QR code so you can access. So pay attention. They are gonna ask for your name. Add your first name and your last name. Por favor, ingresen su primer nombre y primer apellido. No alias, no su segundo nombre, no Goku el más chévere o gatita bonita, no. Your first name and your last name. Correct, like this.
Miss, puede enviar el link al chat, por favor, que no alcancé a escanear el código.
Okay, I have 12 students out of, I think that there are 20 of you guys. So please, the remaining students join the session. You can either do it through this link, or you can also just scan the QR code. Okay, so it's anybody left because I'm about to start. Let's see. Who hasn't? I don't see Paulette Castillo. Paulette. Paulette Castillo. Okay. No Paulette Castillo, I'm gonna start the activity, okay? So right here, you're gonna find some, let's say 2 different options. One it's gonna be correct and the other one it's gonna be incorrect. It's gonna be related to present tense. So read carefully and take your time to answer, okay? So let's start. Good luck. Okay, 13 of you are already done with the activity. So it's almost done now. 14, there's still Kevin still haven't, he hasn't finished. Mercedes neither. Okay, so we only have one student left. Let's see. Okay, Mercedes. We're waiting for Mercedes, and then we can check who's the winner. Well, basically right now we already can see the winners, right? According to this chart, we can see that on the very first place, we got Omar Tomala, that basically got like higher punctuation than Josue because of the time, because Omar was faster than Josue. Josue got the second place and Marjorie Garcia third. Amazing, guys. Okay, so we done with the activity. I'm gonna click into the finish button so we can check why the answers that Omar, Josue, and Marjorie got were the correct ones. Okay, so let me click into the finish button. Most of you got it correctly, so you are getting the idea. You are familiar with the present tense. Once again, congratulations to Omar Tomala, Josue Recalde, and Marjorie Garcia. So let's take a look at the questions. I'm sorry, at the sentences. Okay, so for example, in the very first one, 70 of you got it correct, and only 2 of you got them incorrect. So we have I play soccer in the park and I plays soccer in the park. Remember, we only add the S if we are referring to he, she, or it. So in this case, this one is the correct one, number 1. Now, in the second sentence, he talked to his girlfriend at breakfast, or he talks to his girlfriend at breakfast. Because we are referring to a he, we add the S at the very end of the verb. So this one is the correct one. Number 3, all of you got them correct. Amazing. So do you like this brownies? The correct one, as you got it, because we use the auxiliary do because we are referring to you. Number 4, we have the subject she. So the appropriate auxiliary to apply right here is does. Does she read the book in the morning? Correct. Now, Mayra like beer and burgers, or Mayra likes beer and burgers. So because we are referring to Mayra, it's a she, we use the verb with as. Then we have next one, Catherine. We are referring to a she. So we have to apply the use of the auxiliary doesn't play with her brother. Number 7, we are talking about Tom. Tom is a he. So the verb needs to have an S. Tom speaks 6 languages. Next one, Marta and Karen lives in London, or Marta and Karen live in London. In this case, the correct answer is this one, no S, because we are referring not only to Marta, not only to Karen, but to both, right? So this is the equivalent of they. It's the same that I will say they live in London. Now, we have the same situation right here. We are not referring to Ron, and we are not referring only to Harry, but we are referring to both of them. So it's the equivalent of they. They work in a bank, no S. And finally, we have you cook the vegetables. No S because we are referring to you, okay? Now, we're gonna take a quick break, okay? We are gonna be back at 11. And after that, we are gonna go until 1 p.m., okay? So it's 10:40. We're gonna see again right here at 11 a.m., okay? So I see you in a bit.
No, entre semana.
Okay, guys, so we are back into the second and last part of our class, okay? And in this situation, since we already are familiar with the present tense, most of you already manage the tense quite well, we are gonna move forward into the next unit. So please remember, we are about to start. Turn on your cameras, please, in order to continue with our class. Giancarlo, Sara, Jose Fernando, Paulette, Sebastián Rodríguez, Omar Tomalá, Mercedes, Andreina, Yeliver, Josué. Okay, so we are gonna cover this next unit, right? And right here, we're gonna check some content related to the possessives. Whose and possessive. And in the vocabulary section, we are gonna see vocabulary related with family. And in the pronunciation, we are gonna check how do we pronounce the letter O in certain words, okay? So our unit, it's for A, and I'm gonna ask to Giancarlo Cedillo read the unit's name, please.
Is she his wife or his sister?
Okay, please, Giancarlo, your camera needs to be on. Same thing with Jose Fernando, Paulette, and Josue. Thank you very much. So as Giancarlo, it's like you are not here if you are not turning on your camera, please. Once again.
1 minute, miss. Estoy en la calle.
Okay. So we have the name, is she his wife or his sister? That is the name of the unit, right? So into the grammar section, we are gonna do this first activity, okay? There is no need that you go into the Moodle platform. This is only like an opinion that we are gonna do. Look at this. We have, how interested are people in your country, I mean Ecuador, in the private lives of celebrities? Okay, notice the question. How interested are people in your country in the private lives of celebrities? Celebrities. So I want to tell you something about this, because probably right here, you're seeing this word, right? So let me tell you something. Okay, so I told you about this, right? That I live, it's a verb, right? Remember that I told you I live in Guayaquil. This one right here, it's life, but vida, ¿verdad? Esto es vivir, verbo, y esto es vida como sustantivo. La pronunciación es diferente. Life, perdón, live y life. Ahora, en este caso, ustedes están viendo que aquí dice lives, right? Private lives, private life. Lo que sucede es que cuando esto se lo vuelve plural, se torna diferente y no se hace así, sino que se hace así. ¿Okay? Entonces, en este caso, a pesar de que parece y como que estuviera escrito de la manera del verbo, se está refiriendo al sustantivo. Entiendo, podría ser un tanto confuso, ¿verdad? Pero es la manera en que funciona el inglés. Give me a second, please. Okay. Now, remember, depende mucho el contexto. Al final ustedes me dirán, Miji, ¿cómo yo sé aquí si se está refiriendo al verbo o se está refiriendo al sustantivo de vida? Pues estoy hablando aquí de private lives, sus vidas privadas, ¿verdad? Entonces, remember, usually whenever we use it in a verb, it's like this. Live. I live in Guayaquil. Marta live in New Jersey. This one right here, it's private, I will say, for example, private life, right? Private life. But since I'm referring to plural, I will say private lives, ¿verdad? Entonces aquí me estoy refiriendo vida privada de manera singular y aquí me estoy refiriendo a vida privada de manera plural. Por eso cambia de con escribirlo con F a escribirlo con B, ¿ok? I'm explaining this so it's 100% crystal clear. Now, let's move on to the activity. So the question is, how interested are people in your country in the private lives of celebrities? Celebrities is, for example, Kim Kardashian, Bad Bunny, right? Those are celebrities. What kind of celebrities? Number the people, 1 to 3. 3, it's very interest. 2 is quite interest, and 1 is not very interest, okay? So we have the options: actors, musicians, right? Musicians is, let's say, Luis Miguel. That is a musician. Sports players. So our sport player is Campana, Ener Valencia. Those are a sports player. Other is other categories. Say what? Let's say, for example, could be reality show people, okay? That could be others. Royalty, like Queen Isabel, right? Prince Charles, Prince Harry. TV stars or presenters, and politicians. Politicians is Otto Sauces 9, como le dicen. Politicians is Daniel Noboa. Those are politicians. So right now, what you are going to decide based on this question is that you are going to tell me, according to you, This is opinion. This is not that you have to go to Google. This is up to you. According to you, how interest people in Ecuador is in the private life or actors, musicians, sport players. For example, if you ask me, I will say that people in Ecuador, it's very interested in actors, right? Number 3. In musicians, number 3 as well, and so on. Okay, so you are gonna just write it by yourself in your notebook, in yourself. Okay, let's have 2 minutes to decide this, and then you're gonna tell me your opinion. Okay, so let's see. Anybody wants to share your opinion? Nancy, according to you, which one did you choose in actors? Very interested, quite interested, or not very interested?
Very interested.
Yes, correct. That is up to me the same. What about musicians? 3, 2, or 1?
Musicians. Quite interested.
Quite interested, yes. Number 2, yes. What about sports players?
Very interested.
Yes, very interested. Okay. What about royalty?
Not very interested.
Not very interested. Yeah, same thing. What about TV stars or presenters?
Quite
Quite interested. Number 2. Okay. And about politicians?
very interested for
Very-
campaña. Estamos en campaña ahorita.
Yes, correct. I agree with you. Thank you very much, Nancy, for your
Thank you.
participation. Now, Monica, up to you. What about actors?
3.
3, very interested. Remember,
Very.
yes, the pronunciation of this is like this. Interested. You don't say interested. It's like basically like this. I'm gonna write it like this. Interested, something like this. You delete the right. This is the right word that you pronounce it like this. Interested, like you mix it. Yes. So remember, you can say very interested, quite interested, and not very interested. Okay, so what about musicians, Monica?
Very interested.
Be very interested. This one right here, number 3. Okay, what about sports players?
Not very interested.
Not very interested. Okay, okay, remember that it's not Monica. It's the people in your country, like the whole Ecuador. Yeah, not only you. Yes.
Entonces, sí, very interesting.
Yes, correct. So, what about royalty?
Q interesting.
Quite interested.
Quite
Okay, quite interested. TV stars and presenters.
Quite interesting.
Correct. And what about politicians?
Very interesting.
Very interested. Correct. Thank you very much, Monica. So guys, listen to the pronunciation, okay? Remember, you always can write down the pronunciation. This one, the first one, it's easy, right? Actors. That is easy. This one, it's quite difficult. So listen. Is musicians. Musicians. Number 3, sports players. Others, royalty. Royalty. TV stars, presenters. Presenters. And this one, it's similar to this one right here. Politicians. Politicians. Musicians, politicians. Okay? So now we are gonna do the next activity right here. Let me check. And right here, you're gonna see some celebrities, right? This first one is Justin Bieber, and she's with a woman. We don't know who she is. This is Lionel Messi, right? And again, she's with a woman and also like a child. Jack Nicholson, he is right here with a lady, with a girl. Carla Bruni and George Clooney, okay? So we are gonna take a look at each of these pictures. So for example, we have this question: what does Lionel Messi do? Anybody knows why this guy is so famous? What does Lionel Messi do? What's the activity? What's the sport? Is he a musician? Lionel Messi is a politician. What is Lionel Messi?
Soccer player.
A soccer player, yes, correct. You can say soccer player or a sport player, but if you want to be more specific, well, Lionel Messi is a soccer player. Now, what about Jack Nicholson? What does Jack Nicholson do?
Actor.
Is an actor, correct. He is in many, many movies, correct. What about this guy right here? What does Justin Bieber do?
Musician.
Musician.
Yes, he's a musician, right? What about George Clooney?
Actor.
Is an actor, correct. And anybody knows who is Carla Bruni and what does she do? She's also an actor. She's an actress, right? She's also in the movies, but in European movies in Europa, right? She's from, like, it's different than Hollywood. That is why probably you haven't heard about it. Okay, so let's do this next, this next content, okay? I want to tell you about the possessions with S, right? Because, for example, if you take a look right here, who do you think she is? We have Justin Bieber, and who do you think she is? Mother, girlfriend, cousin? What do you think she is? Mother, right? Probably she's her mom. This lady probably is Justin Bieber's mother. So if I want to use the expression, like I want to say that is Justin Bieber's mother's, right? Probably you could think that you could say it like this. The mother of Justin Bieber, right? The mother of Justin Bieber, ok, makes sense. A la final, si lo decimos en español, tiene algo de sentido. La mamá de Justin Bieber, sí, en español tiene sentido. But in English, this is incorrect. It's not correct in English, okay? This is incorrect. Not. It's not like this. The correct way to say it will be Justin Bieber's mother. That is the right way to say it. And that is why we are about to check content with possession with apostrophe S. Esto es apóstrofe y la S. That is how we show possession in English. Así nosotros mostramos la posesión en inglés. Que hay una relación entre esas dos personas. Ella es mi mamá, ella es su mamá, ¿verdad? O yo decir, este es mi termo. Eso es que me pertenece, ¿verdad? So that is how we show possession in English. Now, for example, if I'm telling you, who do you think she is? This is Antonella. This is his wife, his sister, his mother. What do you think she is? Who do you think she is?
Mother.
Mother, right? Probably that lady, it's her mother. It's his mother. So remember, we don't say the mother of Lionel Messi. This is incorrect. We don't say it like this. The right way to say it will be Lionel Messi apostrophe S mother. Right, that is the right way. So we do it like this. Okay, now let's continue. What about this lady right here? Who do you think she is? We have Jack Nicholson and we have this lady right here.
Your son.
Son, okay. Okay, we're gonna check the vocabulary about family, but I know what you are referring. You are referring to daughter. Daughter, okay? Es la hija, ¿verdad? Son es hijo and daughter is hija. So you probably, that is Jack Nicholson's daughter, right? So we don't say the daughter of Jack Nicholson. That will be incorrect. The correct way will be Jack Nicholson. I think it's like this. Nicholson daughter. Right? So that is the right way to say it. Okay? Now, let's continue with the next one. Who do you think he is? Carla Bruni, husband, brother, nephew. Who do you think he is? ¿Quién creen que es él para Carla Bruni?
The son, tal vez.
Son, could be son, probablemente, no sé, de ella sí no tengo idea quién sea. Podría ser son, hijo, podría ser el husband, esposo, podría ser boyfriend, podría ser el novio, right? So let's say that it's, let's say, the son of Carla Bruni. Incorrect. So the correct way will be Carla Bruni's son. Okay, so this is incorrect. And finally, let's see. We have George Clooney. And we have an old man right here. Who do you think this guy is?
Padre.
George
Yes.
Clooney is dad.
George Clooney's dad, correct. So we don't say the dad or the father, the dad of George Clooney, but we say George Clooney, I'm sorry, that, right? So if you notice, there is also like a pattern, like a structure, right? Whenever we want to, whenever we want to express possession, we first of all add the person that is the belonging of this. Si se fijan, hay un patrón, ¿verdad? Hay una estructura también. Y la estructura que sigue es que primero se pone a quién le pertenece o cuál es la relación de esa persona, ¿no? Como estoy hablando de la mamá de Justin Bieber, primero viene Justin Bieber's and after that the noun. Primero la persona a la que le pertenece y después el sustantivo. Justin Bieber's mother. Lionel Messi's, y esa S se la pronuncia. Lionel Messi's mother. Jack Nicholson's daughter. Carla Bruni's son. George Clooney's dad, right? So you have more examples right here. And in this case, we are not talking about people. We're talking about objects. Aquí ya no estamos hablando de gente, sino que también esto se puede utilizar para algo que nos pertenece, una cosa. Take a look. This is Sam's bicycle. It's not correct to say the bicycle of Sam. This is incorrect. It makes sense in Spanish, but it doesn't make sense in English. So we have that the bicycle, right, belongs to Sam. La bicicleta pertenece a Sam. Next one. Andy is Emma's brother. Andy is Emma's brother. Entonces, básicamente aquí yo estoy diciendo que Andy es el hermano de Emma. Andy is Emma's brother. Have you seen Sam and Emma's garden? It's really big. ¿Has visto el jardín de Sam y Emma? Es realmente grande. My parents' friends came for dinner. Antes de pasar con esto, quería explicarlo de manera mucho más detallada. Fíjense en algo. Cuando nosotros tenemos solamente uno, es lo más fácil, es el escenario más fácil, ¿no? Porque, por ejemplo, estamos viendo aquí Justin Bieber, agrego la S y después el noun. Lionel Messi, agrego la S y después el noun. Pero cuando hay un caso de que yo me refiero a dos personas a las que le pertenece eso, ejemplo, esto de acá, si yo pongo así, fíjense, pongo Emma and Robert house. Emma house, yo quiero decir que la casa es de Emma, ¿verdad? Yo digo Emma's house. Pero ¿qué pasa si la casa no es solamente de Emma y también es de Robert? Ahí viene en donde yo tengo que mencionar los dos nombres, pero no a los dos nombres le coloco la S. Yo no voy a hacer esto. Emma's and Robert's house. Incorrect. En este caso, ¿qué es lo que yo hago? ¿Cómo procedo? Yo lo que hago es que simplemente al último nombre es al que le pongo la S. Ahí sí queda. Este aquí estaría incorrecto. Si son 20 personas, pues menciono las 19 y a la número 20 recién le pongo la S. Another example. I will say Miles car, ¿verdad? No, let's do another example. Britney's car, ¿verdad? Estoy hablando del carro de Britney, pero si yo ya digo el carro no es solamente de Britney, si también es de Sean. Entonces yo digo Britney and Sean car. Si ya no solamente es de Britney and Sean y también es de car, yo diría Britney, car, and Sean's car. siempre la S iría al último, no se la pone en cada uno de los nombres. Ahora, puede darse un caso también en donde, por ejemplo, un nombre que termine de esta manera, hay un nombre que se llama, hay un nombre que existe que se pronuncia así, Miles, y miren que termina en S, ¿no? Entonces, ¿cómo hago yo ahí? Mi lógica me dice, ok, lo hago así, ¿verdad? Pero no es lo correcto. En estos casos, cuando es un nombre, un objeto o lo que sea que termine en S, en ese caso en particular, yo lo único que hago es ponerle el apóstrofe. Miles car. Okay, so this one will be incorrect. This one is the correct one. Okay? Now, let's do a practice according to this, okay? Okay, so before we go to this, I would like to show you some vocabulary related to family, right? This is something that I'm giving to you so you can check later, but I'm not pretending that you guys learn this from day to night because there's a lot of vocabulary, okay? So we have the word cousin. Cousin, primo, primo o prima, sirve para tanto femenino o masculino. Niece, niece, sobrina, solamente sirve para sobrina, no para sobrino. Para sobrino, en este caso, sería, déjenme ver si está aquí, nephew. Nephew es sobrino. Niece es sobrina. Daughter. Daughter. Hija. Daughter. ¿Cómo pronuncio hijo? Pues debería estar por aquí. No lo veo, pero sería son, que sí fue lo que me indicaron hace rato, ¿verdad? Sería daughter, hija, e hijo, son. Aunt, tía. Aunt, tía. Uncle es tío. Aunt, tía, uncle, tío. Girl twins, gemelas o mellizas. Y boy twins, mellizos. Girl, sister, and girlfriend. Girl, niña. Sister, hermana. Girlfriend, novia. Now, let's see some of the men in the family. Great grandfather. Great grandfather. Bisabuelo. Bisabuelo. Grandpa o grandfather, same thing. Abuelo. Pa, father o daddy, same thing, como decir pa, papá y papi. Husband, esposo. Uncle, tío. Father-in-law. Este in-law es que hay algo como de leyes ahí, ¿no? Es decir, aquí se está refiriendo al suegro. Father-in-law. Brother, ¿verdad? Brother, hermano, sister, hermana. Sister and brother. Nephew, sobrino. Boy, baby boy. Twin boys, cousin, aplica para lo mismo. Brother-in-law. Si father-in-law es suegro, ¿qué creen que es brother-in-law?
Cuñado.
Cuñado, correcto. ¿Qué creen que es mother-in-law?
Suegra.
Suegra, correct. And sister-in-law?
Cuñada.
Cuñada, correcto. Boyfriend, man, man cuando es solo uno y man cuando son varios. Okay? So right here you have additional vocabulary. We already have all of this. Okay, wife and husband, esposo y esposa, right? And well, this is the rest of this. ¿Qué creen que es daughter-in-law?
Hijastra, ¿no?
No. Daughter-in-law. Las que son favoritas de las suegras. Las nueras. Las nueras, correct. ¿Y cuál creen que es brother? No, sería en este caso
Son-in-law.
son-in-law. Sí, qué creen que es son-in-law?
Yerno.
Yerno, correct. Okay, so once again, I'm not pretending that you remember this for tomorrow, no. But I'm leaving this right here so you can try to practice and get familiar with the vocabulary, okay? Now, knowing that you have this content right here, we are gonna do the next activity. The next activity is actually related with family vocabulary, and also you are gonna have possession. So let's do this activity. Before you go, dame un segundo para cambiarle y ponerles 25 minutos porque está con 10 nomás. Okay, now you can go into the quiz and look, we have to answer the question. Number one, it's already done. Is your mother's mother, my grandmother, right? So if I'm talking about your mother's mother, of course, I'm talking about my grandmother. Now, your father's brother, your father's brother. What do you think is the answer right here? We're talking about, basically we're saying the brother. Uncle, correct.
Tío.
Yes, remember to say my uncle, because this is the structure. My grandmother, my uncle, my, okay? So let's try to do the remaining ones and then we check, okay? If you forget some of the vocabulary, remember that you have right here some additional terms so you can get familiar, okay? Solamente recuerden que siempre va primero a la persona a la que le pertenece, ¿verdad? Es decir, la mamá de su mamá, en este caso sería el hermano de mi papá, ¿verdad? El hermano de mi papá. Primero va aquí a lo que le pertenece. Your brother's or your sister's daughter. Entonces, la hija de ya sea de tu hermano o de tu hermana, okay? And so on. Let's have 3 minutes to do this and then we check your answer. Okay, I do have volunteers, so that is always great news. So let's go with number 3. Okay, so let's see. I have Marjorie Garcia. Can you please read this and then tell me the answer?
Your brother's sister's daughter, my niece.
My niece, correct. Great great pronunciation. My niece. Your brother's sister's daughter. Remember, the pronunciation of this word is daughter. Daughter. Do not get fooled because you have this A and U. No se dejen engañar porque ven esta A y U y no se pronuncia daughter, no. Daughter, okay, como con O, daughter. And this one right here, niece. Great job, Marjorie. Now, the next one, Sara Castro.
Your aunt's children, my cousins.
My cousins, correct. My cousins, correct. Your aunt's children. One thing, guys, we have the word children, right? Let me tell you something about this that sometimes we get confused. Children, it's plural, right? Children, I'm referring to 2 or more kids, right? The singular of children is child, okay? Child is 1 kid. So we don't say children's. No, we say child or children, okay? Remember that. Now, let's continue with number 5. We're gonna go with Josue Recalde.
My brother-in-law.
Your brother-in-law, correct. Can you please repeat can you please read the instruction right here?
I am your husband's wife's brother.
Correct. My brother-in-law. So, only a quick thing, guys. Aquí está seteado de esta manera, ¿no? Para que no les salga incorrecto, pónganlo de esta manera. Brother-in-law, con guiones, ¿verdad? No es que se deba escribir normalmente así, pero está seteado de esa manera en el libro, entonces para que no les salga incorrecto, pónganlo de esa manera. Ustedes lo van a encontrar en ocasiones escrito separados con espacio y en otras ocasiones lo van a encontrar separados con guiones. Ambas maneras están correctas, ¿ok? Now, we have number 6, Sebastián Rodríguez.
My nephew.
My nephew, can you please read the instruction?
Your niece, brother.
Correct. My nephew. I'm sorry. There you go. Correct. Great job, guys. Thank you very much for your participation. And right now, we are going to practice some pronunciation. Okay, so please pay really good attention to the things that I'm going to do right now. Okay, right now we are gonna be developing this activity, right? The pronunciation, the letter O. So we are gonna listen and repeat the words and sounds, right? We're gonna try to pronounce correctly this sound. Let me open my file. Okay, let's listen.
$2.33.
Up.
Up.
Ah.
Ah.
Mother.
Mother.
Brother.
Brother.
Son.
Son.
Husband.
Husband.
Uncle.
Uncle.
Cousin.
Cousin. Okay, so let's listen once again.
.33.
Up.
Up. This is the first one. Up. And the sound is up.
Ah. Mother.
Mother.
Brother.
Brother.
Son.
Son.
Husband.
Husband.
Uncle.
Uncle.
Cousin.
Cousin. Okay, so let's see. John, can you please pronounce each of these words?
Up.
Correct.
Mother. Brother. Son. Husband. Uncle. Cousin.
Correct. Great job. Thank you very much, John, for participating. Now, let's go to, let me check something right here. Okay, so right now, we are gonna listen to some additional words. These words right here, okay? All of these words right here. So, pay attention.
.34.
Up. Come. London. Money. One. Phone. Don't. Go. Home. No. Clock. Doctor. Job. Model. Scotland. Strong. Boot. Do. Who.
Okay, so as you heard, right here in each of this, we have different kinds of pronunciation, right? That, for example, in this, it's gonna be the same pronunciation up and come, right? Right here, fun and don't, clock and doctor, boot and do. So what we are gonna do in the next exercise is that we are gonna try to put in the right group how we pronounce these words. So for example, come, it's already done, it's gonna be in this group. Don't, it's already done, it's already in the group of phone. In the case of clock, we have it right here, doctor. In the case of boot, it's gonna be do. So your task right now is to decide if, for example, go goes into this group of the pronunciation, into this group, or into this group right here, okay? For doing this, you are gonna go into pronunciation, activity 3C, the letter O. How is the letter pronounced in these words? Okay, so it is up to you right now. We already know that, for example, up and come, where is come? This one goes right here. This one goes right here. This one goes right here. And this one goes right here. It is up to you decide how do we complete the remaining options. So I'm gonna pronounce the words for you and you will have to try to tell me in which groups they belong. We have job, job, okay? Job. We have the next one, and in this case, we have money, money. A strong, model, model, London, home, who, no, Scotland, Scotland, go, one. Remember, the pronunciation right here is up, phone, on, clock, ugh, boot, ut. Okay? So let's try, first of all, to put each of these words in this group. So you know that right here, we're going to have 1, 2, and 3. Right here, 1, 2, and 3. Right here, we're going to have 4. And right here, we're going to have only 1. So let's take a minute and let's try to figure it out, okay?
Teacher, ¿hay que ubicar en orden alfabética o no?
No, I don't think so. Let me check. Yes, do it in alphabetical order. Yes, right here, look. In alphabetical order, correct. Thank you very much for the comment, Sandra. So you need to put them in alphabetical order, okay? Okay, guys. So right now, pay attention because you're gonna hear once again the audio that it's gonna tell you in which group of this one right here, right? You are gonna have to put the words in. Check. 30.
2.34.
Up. Come. London. Money. 1. Phone. Don't. Go. Home. No. Clock. Doctor. Job. Model. Scotland. strong. Boot, do, who.
Okay, so let's see. Let's see if I do have any volunteer to tell me the first words coming into this group. Any volunteer? Okay, Nancy. So we have the first group, up, up. Then we have come. What else do you think goes into this first group?
Up, come, London, money, and one.
Correct. Money and one. So we have, look that it's the same pronunciation of this case. Even though that this is a U, the pronunciation is up, 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 come, London, money, one. Okay, let's go to the next group of words. Thank you very much, Nancy. So we have phone. The pronunciation is own, phone, don't. Okay, so let's see. Mercedes Arteaga. What do you think are the remaining words right here?
Don't. Mother. Hola.
Yes.
Yeah, don't. Model.
I cannot hear you, Mercedes. There's a lot of noise over there. So I'm gonna
Sí,
continue.
mi, solo que una vecina tiene esa música y no sé si me escucha.
Not really. I'm not hear you properly. Okay. So remember, look, the sound right here, it's phone, phone, don't, right? So model, I'm not saying model, I'm saying model. In this case, phone, don't, right? So Jelliver Cruz, how would you, which are the remaining options right here?
Don't, go, no, go.
Home and no, because remember it's alphabetical, okay? That's correct. Thank you very much, Jelliver. So look at the pronunciation. Phone, don't, go, home, no, right? It's like an O and an U, O. Now, let's continue with the next group. In this case is clock, uck. That is the pronunciation. Es como una O seca. So, Álvaro Lara, what are the words right here?
Clock, doctor, job, strong,
Remember that it's alphabetical. Alphabetical. You have to go from A to Z. So, doctor, job, what else? You say strong. If you say strong, strong is the last one. Okay, what else? Doctor, job, what else, Álvaro? Okay, let's go with Josué. Josué Recalde.
Model.
Model, what else? What's the next one?
Scotland.
Correct, Scotland. Okay, so in this case is, thank you very much, Josué. Listen, clock, doctor, job, model, Scotland, strong. It's like a dry O. And finally, we have Andreina Cabezas. Which is the remaining word right here?
Es good.
Who, correct. Remember, boot, do, who. It's like a U, okay? That is the correct pronunciation. Please, guys, click into finish the term. And we are gonna go into our next activity. Give me a second because I need to make available the next unit so you can see it. Okay, now you're gonna be able to see unit 4C, I think it is. Let me check. No, it's 4B, 4B. Let me check if it's really available for you. Yeah, okay, so right here we have 4B and 4C. Right now we are gonna go into 4B, what alive, okay? So right here we're gonna see into the grammar section preposition of time, at, it, on, and preposition of place, at, in, to. Into the vocabulary section, we're gonna check everyday activities, and in the pronunciation, linking, and sentence stress. So right here, the name is What Alive. Es como que, qué vida, what alive. So let's see, vocabulary, everyday activities. So I'm gonna play an audio track and you are gonna listen to the sounds and you are gonna try to number the phrases 1 to 6. Look, we have everyday activities right here. First of all, we got get dressed. Get dressed. Basically, let's say an example. Hey, we're gonna go to the movies at 1 p.m. You need to get dressed now because we need to leave. Get dressed, okay? Get dressed, put your shirt on, put your pants, put your shoes. Get dressed. Then we have get up. Get up, right? Whenever you're sleeping, right, you set an alarm and you get up for English classes. Get up. Have breakfast. Have breakfast, right? Probably you got some waffle and eggs, or probably you have a tuna sandwich. Have breakfast. Have a shower because it's really hot, so you have, or you can also take a shower. Go to work or go to school and have a coffee, right? You go to sit and coffee because you want a tartita de acelga, but you also have a coffee, okay? So let's see. Let's go with activity 1A. Listen to the sounds and numbers and number the phrases 1 to 6, I'm sorry. Okay, now you are gonna be able to go in, and right here you have an audio, right? So basically you will have to make it in order, numbers, right? Let's listen.
2.36. 1,
So this is the one that it's already done right here. Get up, right? This person, it seems like it's sleeping, so the alarm sounds, right? And he's getting up. Now, let's go with the next one. We have, let's say 3 to 5 minutes, and then we check the activity, okay? So please work in this one. Okay, so let's check the activity. It's this one right here. I already have some volunteers. That is always a good news. So let's check. Okay, number one, we already have that is get up. Okay, let's listen.
2.36. 1.
Okay, let's go with number 2.
2.
Okay, Monica, what is the one number 2?
Have a shower.
Have a shower, correct. Number 2, great job, Monica. Thank you very much. Let's go with number 3. Let's listen.
3. 4.
Okay, which one do you think is number 3, Helen?
Get dressed.
Get dressed, right? It's common sense, right? First of all, we take a shower and after that we have to get dressed, correct. Now we have Sandra Santin. Let's go with number 4. Let's listen first and then we have the answer. Okay, which one do you think is number 4, Sandra?
Had a coffee. Teacher, yo hoy me confundí porque parecía como que estaba desayunando. Y
Yes.
cuando pone el agua, en cambio, yo le escuché como que iba a tomar el café.
Yes, but it's like he's sipping, right? Está como que le da un sorbido al café. Es un tanto confuso esa de ahí, but it's have a coffee, correct. Now let's continue the next one.
5.
Okay, Mercedes Arteaga.
Have breakfast.
Have breakfast, correct. And the last one, let's hear it.
6.
Bye.
Bye.
Sara Castro, the last one.
Go to work, school.
Correct. Go to work or go to school. Amazing. So we are gonna close this and we are gonna moving on into the next one, okay? Right now, once again, we are gonna practice our listening skills. Because in this next activity, you are gonna see, before you go in, let me change the time so you can have extra time right here. No, this is not right. Okay, so you are gonna listen to an audio right here. And the thing that you will have to do, it's basically listen to 5 sentences, okay? Remember, it's not the same way that I'm speaking to you, right? So it's gonna be quite difficult. But in this audio, you're gonna listen 5 sentences, and your work, it's gonna be to write each of those sentences right here. Okay, so let's listen.
2.38. 1.
He wakes up at 8 o'clock.
2.
She works in an office.
3.
She has a coffee at 11 o'clock.
4.
He has a lot of homework.
5.
She has an interesting day.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes, re-listen the audio so you can type each of the sentences right here, okay? Okay, guys, let's check if you got the answers for this, okay? So let's see, right? Because again, it's a different kind of English. Of course, probably it's gonna be quite difficult to understand what these people is saying. Now, let's hear the first one, and then I'm gonna go with Sebastián Rodríguez, but let's hear it.
2.38. 1.
He wakes up at 8 o'clock.
Okay, Sebastián, what's the first sentence right here?
He wakes up to 8 o'clock.
He wakes up, not to, but at 8
O'clock.
o'clock, correct. Great job, Sebastián, thank you very much. Now, let's hear the next one, okay? Listen.
2. She works in an office.
Any volunteer? Okay, we have
He
Sebastián.
was in an office.
Okay, she
Works He works in an office.
Correct. In an office. Correct. She works in an office. So he wakes up at 8 o'clock and she works in an office. Now, great job, Sandra. Thank you very much. Let's continue with number 3. Let's hear it.
3. She has a coffee at 11 o'clock.
Anybody was able to get this one?
She and the coffee and 11 o'clock.
There's mentioned coffee at 11 o'clock, but there's still something missing right here. We're still missing something right here. Let's listen once again.
She has a coffee at 11 o'clock.
We have 3 words missing right here.
She have.
Correct. She has a coffee at 11 o'clock. Remember that the expression, it's half coffee, right? Half coffee. But since we are referring to a she, we change half por has. Recuerden que al ser she, tercera persona, ese half de lo que habíamos hablado ayer, yo no es que le iba a aumentar así, sino que cambia totalmente a has. Okay? Great job. Now, let's go with the next one, number 4.
4. He has a lot of homework.
Were you able to get that one?
He has a lot of homework. He has a lot of homework. He has a lot of homework. A lot of homework.
She
4.
has a lot of.
He has, what else? He has a lot.
Of.
He has a lot of homework.
He has a lot of homework. Homework. Right? The only thing is that she pronounces like way too quickly, and that is why it sounds like homework. Okay. Now let's listen the last one.
5. She has an interesting day. She has an interesting day. She has an interesting day.
What's the first word that you're hearing? The first word.
She.
She, right? So we already have the first word. What else? Let's listen.
It's an interesting
She has.
day.
She has. What else?
An interesting day.
Correct. She has an interesting day. Interesting, okay? She has an interesting day. Okay, now let's listen once again. And now that we already know which it's the content of each sentence, just follow, okay? Listen and follow the reading.
.38 1,
He wakes up at 8 o'clock.
2,
She works in an office.
3,
She has a coffee at 11 o'clock.
4,
He has a lot of homework.
5,
She has an interesting day.
Okay, guys, so please click into the finish button. And right now we are gonna go into the last topic of our class. And the last topic of today's class, it's gonna be the preposition of places and time. Okay. So we have three basic prepositions, right? Prepositions are the ones whenever you put before an expression One of the many preposition is in, on, and at. So we use in, for example, whenever, like we can use it for places and time. If we use in the kind of places, it's to refer to countries and cities. In Guayaquil, I live in Guayaquil, I live in Ecuador, right? Also, whenever we're referring to time, we are gonna use in for months, seasons, years, and time of days. For example, I will say, I like to travel to New York in July. In July, because I'm referring to a month. If I'm talking about a particular season, winter, summer, autumn, I'm also gonna use in. If I'm referring to a year, like 2020, I will also have to use in. And if I'm referring to a time of day, you guys are gonna also use in, I'm sorry, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. Now, whenever we use at, it's to referring to times, particular times. At 7 o'clock, at 8 o'clock, in festival periods, at Christmas, at Carnival, at el Día de los Difuntos, at las fiestas de Guayaquil, at the weekend. And in terms of places, whenever we're referring to a school, at home, at work, at university, at the airport, at the station, at a bus stop, at a party, at the door. And finally, on, we refer, this is particular different, right? Esto es algo que a veces raya en lo loco con la preposición de tiempo, ¿no? Y siempre trato de explicárselos de esa manera. In y on difiere en términos de transporte, ¿verdad? Que yo utilizo on en un transporte en donde básicamente yo me puedo parar. En un tren ustedes se pueden parar y caminar, ¿verdad? En un barco ustedes se pueden parar y caminar. En un avión ustedes se pueden parar y caminar. En una bicicleta se pueden parar y pedalear. Y por eso en ese caso se utiliza on, pero no en el caso del carro, porque en el carro como que no les da el espacio. Entonces en ese caso se utiliza en. ¿Ok? Y también cuando haya algún tipo de superficie, también se utiliza on the floor, on the table, on a shelf, on the balcony. Y en términos de fecha, on is for a specific date. Look, right here we have March 1st. Right here I'm only mentioned the month. But if I'm telling you the specific day, June 25th, right? So in that case, I'm gonna be using on. And also in any of the days, on Wednesday, on Saturday, on Sunday, on New Year's Day, on Valentine's Day. Diferente acá que me refiero a Navidad como tal, la festividad. Si yo aquí dijera on Christmas Day, sería on, porque me estoy refiriendo a un día. Pero si me refiero al periodo de Christmas de manera general, lo idóneo sería at. Okay, so in order to practice this, let's go to this next activity. Next and final activity. We are on unit 4B, What Alive. This one right here. And we are gonna go to this activity right here. Grammar, preposition of time, at, in, on, and place, at, into. So you guys are gonna click into this one. And right here, you're gonna find 4 different options. You only need to use once in each option. You got, I get up, half past, aquí está mal escrito, no es pase, sino es doble S, half past 6. Then we have the morning, we usually have 5 lessons, sometimes 6. We have lunch, school, the cafeteria, otra vez está mal escrito. Mondays and Wednesday, I go extra classes. Okay, so try to make it sense right here. ¿Verdad? Basándose aquí, se pueden ayudar con esto, pero traten de identificar, right? What I'm referring right here. I am, for example, giving you, en este caso, mire, es past como este, ¿no? Past, que aquí está mal escrito, ¿no? Y así, de esa manera, procuren relacionar, ¿ok? Now, let's have 2 minutes for this, and then we're gonna check it, and after that, we are gonna be done. We are gonna be done with the activities. Okay, guys, so let's go with the first one. And I do have Sandra Santin. Sandra, can you please read the whole sentence?
I get up at 6:30.
Correct. I get up at 6:30. Great job, Sandra. Thank you very much. Let's continue with number 2, please. Nancy, read the whole sentence as well.
In the morning, we usually have 5 lessons, sometimes 6.
Correct. Great job. Then let's continue with number 3, Veronica Murillo.
At the school in the cafeteria.
In the cafeteria, yeah, there's a lot of mistakes in this exercise, but yes, right here it's de. This is not C, but T. Great job, Veronica. And finally, let's go with Monica Añasco.
On Mondays and Wednesday, I go to extra class.
Correct. On Mondays, on Mondays and Wednesdays, I go to extra classes. Great job, guys. Thank you very much for your participation. And we are done with today's class. But before, I'm gonna assign you only one tiny task. You are not gonna have a lot to do, but please pay attention to the activity that you will have to develop, okay? It's basically a writing. So remember that we were checking this unit before. This one right here, right? About profiles, unit 3C. So the activity that you guys will develop, it's related to your profile. So right here, the activity that you will have to do is write a personal profile about you. So you're gonna go into unit 3C and you are gonna do activity 5, write it, this one right here. So if you go, this is the only activity, only one, no more. So right here, you are gonna write something similar to this. Look. Right? This is, I'm gonna send this through the chat, but something like this is the thing that you will have to write. Okay? So for example, you will say, my name is Andrea Rodriguez. I am from Ecuador and I live in Guayaquil. I am a teacher. I work for La Universidad Católica. I speak Spanish and English. I like pop and rap music. I don't like bachata, right? I like European and British films, okay? Esto es solamente un ejemplo. No es que lo tienen que hacer con ese formato ni nada. Simplemente ustedes van a tener que ingresar aquí a la plataforma y escribir, ¿verdad? Un perfil de ustedes. Sí les voy a mandar esto por aquí y también por WhatsApp para que lo usen de referencias de qué temas podrían abordar, ¿no? Pero obviamente les pido que esto de acá no es calificado, no es que les voy a poner 0 o algo. Entonces, ¿a qué voy con esto? Que por favor lo escriban desde ustedes, no que vayan a Google Translate, ¿verdad? Y que escriban el texto y simplemente lo peguen, porque no es lo que quiero. Quiero poder revisar sus trabajos, quiero poder darles mis acotaciones, ¿verdad? Y poder sugerirles cualquier cambio o mejora dentro de sus writings, porque recuerden que dentro del examen va a haber una sección de writing, entonces eso es algo que también tenemos que practicar. Y fíjense que pueden utilizar todo lo que hemos estado abordando, ¿verdad? Aquí se está utilizando preposition of time, por ejemplo, at the weekend, ustedes pueden utilizar eso, ¿verdad? O también pueden utilizar el lenguaje y vocabulario que ustedes quieran. Es muy abierto, no les doy ninguna estructura ni nada para que ustedes lo hagan a conveniencia de ustedes, ¿ok? No les estoy poniendo ningún máximo ni mínimo de palabra tampoco, pero tampoco me van a poner, hi, I am Andrea, thank you. No, o sea, sí me pongan algunas cosas, sobre todo los temas sugeridos de aquí, ¿no? Temas sugeridos como dónde viven, hometown, su ocupación, si hablan algún lenguaje, sus intereses musicales, sus intereses de películas, sus intereses de televisión, si tienen algún interés con los deportes. ¿Ok? Any question, guys? this is gonna be open. I'm gonna tell you when this is gonna be open until September 14 at 1 p.m. Okay, this is gonna be open until September 14 until 1 p.m. Okay, guys, everything is clear. Do you have a question? No questions? Siempre les digo preguntas y ya cuando estoy por irme me preguntan. Les pregunto nuevamente. Questions.
Miss, yo tengo una pregunta, pero no referente a lo de las clases de hoy.
Sí, cuéntame.
Es que yo entré 10 minutos antes de que usted tomara la lista. Quería... Ok.
Sí te puse, a partir de la segunda hora, sí te puse la asistencia.
Ok.
Ok, any other questions?
Sí, Andrea, también tengo una pregunta. ¿Todavía no está activa Articia?
Me parece que sí. Estaba oculto, lo habían puesto como oculto, pero me parece que yo ayer ya lo puse activo. ¿Podrías chequear? Porque ayer sí lo vi que como hicieron ese cambio, me aparecía a mí que estaba oculto, pero yo ya lo puse activo. Igual chequea.
Ya. Y yo también, como le indiqué, tenía problemas para
Sí,
ingresar,
sí,
pero
sí,
ya.
yo sí te puse la asistencia, sí. Lo mismo, por ahí también estaba Melanie, pero Melanie nunca pudo ingresar porque tenía problemas de internet también.
Ok, muchas gracias.
Okay.
Miss, sí está activo, pero no carga. Alticia.
Sí, así estoy viendo que a mí estoy tratando de abrirlo y no, tampoco me deja. Déjame chequear y si de ser así, pues tendría que notificarlo con el infopedagogo.
No carga.
¿No
Y
carga?
se nos va el tiempo, se nos va el tiempo, Andrea.
Sí, ya porque sabes que hasta, ¿cuándo habrá sido? Hasta el viernes yo sí lo chequeé. Pero saben que, escriban en el grupo que ahí está Alfonso para que pueda ver ese mensaje también. Escriban los que más puedan para que lo vea y se pueda hacer algo al respecto. De todas maneras, yo le voy a comunicar a él también, ¿ya?
Miss, una pregunta.
Sí, cuéntame, Josué.
Los deberes que mandó el día de ayer, ¿hasta qué fecha tienen?
Eso fue ya hasta hoy, 8 de la mañana.
Llame.
Okay, any other question, guys? Questions before I leave, I go? Okay, so if there is no further questions, thank you very much for coming to the class, and I see you next weekend, okay? Have an amazing day. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, teacher.
Bye.
Bye, teacher.
Bye, John. Thank you.